Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to Talkin and Grubbin Live Digital Show. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Tonight, I'm back to talk about a couple of new things. Well, Greg Gutfeld is beefing with Colin Kaepernick again. Plus, Zach Levine rejects a trade to the Knicks. That and plenty more tonight on Talkin and Grubbin, the live digital show. So let's get into it. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to another edition of Talking and Grubbing Live Digital Show. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing okay. I hope everybody had a great weekend. What's up, Rise and Rhino? How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He does the CFL as well as the USFL. Go check out his channel. All right. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Got a couple of hot dogs here I'm going to be grubbing on tonight. Hope everybody had a fun weekend. I apologize for coming on late. Had a little technical issue. That's fixed now. All right. Told you I got some hot dogs I'm grubbing on. Grubbing on a couple hot dogs. Sugardale hot dogs, in fact. Cleveland's own. But all right, good people, let's get into it. Starting with Greg Gutfeld is beefing with Colin Kaepernick again. Fox News commentator Greg Gutfeld recently on his show, The Five, had a beef with Colin Kaepernick as he's promoting his new book, Our History Has Always Been Contraband in Defense of Black Studies, which is set to be published on the 4th of July. As Colin Kaepernick called out capitalism, saying it's compared it to white supremacy, and Greg Gutfeld was in his feelings about it. So I'm gonna let you hear the audio, and I'll be back with my take. Here's Greg Gutfeld. All right, that's enough of Greg Gutfeld. He said a lot while saying nothing. Now, basically, he took Colin, in my opinion, he took Colin Kaepernick's words out of context. He wasn't criticizing he wasn't dogging the system of capitalism. He's dogging how it's being used. And there are criticisms with capitalism. It's not perfect. No system is perfect. Even whether you follow capitalism, communism, it's not perfect. There are criticisms of capitalism, just like anything else. When it's used right, yeah, it's a great system. But when it's not used right, then it's a flawed system that needs to be criticized. Excuse me. Basically saying that capitalism has not been fair all around for everybody. That's easy for Greg Gutfeld to say because, hey, his ancestors got a 500-year start in the capitalism game, while my ancestors, as well as Colin's, we've been playing catch up a little bit. But what it really boils down to is a lot of it is jealousy, and yeah, I'm gonna say it, racism with Greg Gutfeld. He's mad over the fact that after Colin Kaepernick was basically kicked out of the NFL, people like him thought he would be broke, destitute, and not just have anything. But ever since then, Colin has thrived. He won his lawsuit against the NFL. He ended up getting an endorsement with Nike. He's put out a few books. He's got another one coming out, like I just mentioned, on the 4th of July. So Colin didn't after Colin, got kicked out of the NFL, he's done his thing. He's been thriving. And all he's doing is just calling out the flaws of capitalism. He didn't call out capitalism being bad as a whole. He's just saying that, hey, capitalism needs to be improved upon. And it does need to be improved upon. No way in the world it should be haves and have-nots. Or as George W. used to say, the haves and the have-mores. It should work for all. It should definitely work for everybody to get opportunity and equal access to that capital. What's up, Daniel Berry? How you doing? Check out his channel. But yeah, that's all he was saying. And Greg Gutfeld, a lot of Fox News people, like I said, they say a lot of things without saying anything. If Colin Kaepernick would have changed his tune to more their side, he would be a patriot, he'd be America's sweetheart. But since he hasn't, they hate that man. And Greg Gutfeld, like, dude, that dude's a joke. Nobody takes him seriously except for you know who. And also, don't most of your viewership go around blaming people who don't look like you for everything? I'm just saying, Greg. Most of your viewership goes around blaming anything and everything on people who don't look like you. So what this is really about, you're mad because despite all these criticisms, he's doing better than you. And you thought he wouldn't do better. But like I said, ever since his situation where it happened, where he ended up being blackballed out of the NFL, he's thrived since then, not gone down. And that's what really burns you, your co-host, and your viewership up, that he didn't go down. that he's still standing and still thriving. All right, good people. I'm going to take a quick time out, let you hear a word from my partners at Bet US, and I'll be back with the next segment.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
All right, I'm back, good people. Now, on to the next segment. Well, Chicago Bulls star Zach Levine has rejected a trade to the New York Knicks. And a lot of people feel it's a petty reason. Now, the New York Knicks, they have definitely been looking to target for a superstar for a long period of time now. Of course, they're coming off of a pretty good playoff run. They got to the second round where they ultimately lost to their longtime rival Miami Heat in 6 games. And they were definitely looking to acquire Zach Levine at the trade deadline last season. But Zach Levine has come out and said that a trade with the Knicks is out of the question. And his reason is, according to the New York Daily News, make sure I got the source right. Yep, New York Daily News. The reason why Zach Levine does not want to trade with the Knicks is due to the fact that Rich Paul is his current agent. As we all know, Rich Paul owns Clutch Sports. Of course, he's real good friends with LeBron James, and he has a lot of other big name clients, including Draymond Green. But at the time, the Knicks' current GM is Leon Rose. Now, how are they all connected, you may ask? Leon Rose ran CAA for years, and he was the agents for LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh when they were all with the Heat. Matter of fact, he was one of the factors of getting the big three together in Miami. And Rich Paul was working under Leon Rose, and they had a very bad falling out to the point where Rich Paul left CAA and started Clutch Sports. So basically, Zach Levine doesn't want to go to the Knicks because Leon Rose is the GM. He worked under Rich Paul when he was at CAA, and they ended on pretty bad terms to where Rich Paul had started his own thing and became successful. So basically, I think that Zach Levine doesn't want to go there out of loyalty to Rich Paul. And there's nothing wrong with that. This guy, come on. Who can kind of blame him? He just got him, a $215 million contract extension about a year or two ago. Excuse me. And from what I hear, he and Rich Paul have a very good relationship. And I definitely think that Rich Paul does not want to send any of his clients to the Knicks as long as Leon Rose is the GM of that team. That's what I think also. And also, I think Rich Paul definitely told Zach Levine about some of the business practices that Leon Rose did while he was head of CAA. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if y'all don't know what CAA stands for, that's Creative Artists Agency out in LA. That's one of the biggest talent agencies in Hollywood. But definitely think that Zach Levine doesn't want to go to the Knicks since Leon Rose is there, and I think he has major loyalty to Rich Paul. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, sometimes when you are real good friends with somebody or you have a real close relationship with someone, you know, you want to stay loyal to them, and you have that, and you know, you feel that they're loyal to you in return. So that's what I definitely think. I think it's more of a loyalty thing. And also, like I said, I think Rich Paul gave Levine the heads up about all the business practices that Leon Rose was doing while he was over at CAA. And also, I definitely think that Levine doesn't want to share the ball or the spotlight with Jalen Brunson because they have definitely fallen in love with him over there in New York after what he did in the playoffs last year. So I think he doesn't want to share that. I think he just wants to be his own man in Chicago as well. I think that's another factor of why Levine doesn't want to go to the Knicks. Definitely think that's why. But also, you know, a lot of people are calling it petty. I wouldn't consider that petty because a lot of players have rejected trades to other teams for various reasons. It could be the city, it could be money. It's been, you know, sometimes it's because of weather. It's because of opportunities outside of whatever sport it may be. So, you know, to call this trade petty, that's kind of just very reactionary. It's not petty at all. I mean, it is about organization, and everybody doesn't feel a certain organization is right for them. Maybe Levine doesn't want to go and play for James Dolan. We all know how a lot of Knicks fans feel about James Dolan and all the shady practices he's done. We all know Charles Oakley definitely ain't on his Christmas list after what he did to him a few years ago by having security escort him out like they did. And also how he treated Spike Lee, who's a diehard Knicks fan and a longtime season ticket holder a few years ago. So maybe that could be a factor in Levine's decision as well. It's not always black and white like some people may make it seem to be. I think Leon Rose may be a factor, but it may not be the factor. He may not want to play for an owner like James Dolan. Matter of fact, main reason why a lot of big name free agents didn't go to the Knicks because of Dolan. LeBron, because LeBron at one point thought about going to the Knicks, but his wife was against it. KD definitely didn't want to go to the Knicks because of Dolan. So ownership could be a factor too. And a lot of cases with free agents or players that want to be traded, ownership plays a factor in whether the player decides to go to that particular team or not. They want to see how the ownership is doing, how their organization is set up, what are their plans to spend money, what are their plans to build a contending team, a championship worthy team. So maybe Levine saw that, not only Leon Rose is there as the GM, but he also saw James Dolan is still the owner, and he doesn't want to play for that. Well, play for those types of people. All right, good people, I'm going to take another quick pause. I'll be right back, so don't go away.
favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action.
All right, good people. Sorry about that. Now, on to the next topic. Our favorite messy sports anchor is at it again. Malika Andrews, during the NBA draft this past Thursday, embarrasses herself and puts the second round pick Brandon Miller on blast while after he was drafted to the Charlotte Hornets with the number 2 pick. At the draft, she mentioned the fact that Brandon Miller's name was implicated in a murder case that happened with his teammate and another man. Now, Brandon Miller had no involvement with this murder whatsoever. So why did Malika Andrews have to bring that up? Like, come on. You know, this is this young man's special night. He's been waiting for this for a long time. It's finally here, and she messes it up by even mentioning this. It's like, okay, the case is still pending. Nobody is, so that means the investigation, is still going on. So nobody knows if Brandon Miller had any involvement or not. Just let the legal process determine that. But Malika Andrews was very messy for doing that. Like, you don't ruin that young brother's night. Come on, that was that man's moment in the sun, and you ruined it for him by even mentioning that. That's just messy. But I bet you wouldn't do that to any other players, if you know what I mean. You wouldn't do that at all. But Malika Andrews has always been messy, man, and it seems like she just goes after the brothers just very hard. She went hard in the paint on Ime Udoka last year when the whole cheating scandal in the Boston Celtics organization came about. She really went in hard on him. You know, she went hard on that player who was murdered, trying to protect, you know, his girlfriend and her friend. I forget the player's name. If anybody remembers the player's name, please give it to me. I will appreciate it. But still, like, Malika, why did you have to do that? Even bring that up? I mean, most of the time, you don't really hear players' past being brought up like that during the draft. I don't care if it's the NBA, NFL, MLB. You don't even hear it with the NHL draft. But you just had to go in on this brother. Just saying, by saying, okay, yeah, he was drafted number 2. You know, he scored 18 points at Alabama, but he was involved in a murder case with his teammate and another man. Like, come on, Malika. That's grimy. That is straight up messy. But you've always been messy. Ever since you got promoted at ESPN to do the NBA after they let go of Rachel Nichols. You've been messy ever since then. Very messy. It's like you could not just do a full NBA show without bringing up somebody's past or somebody's drama. That's not cool at all. Let that man have his moment. Because Brandon Miller's only 18, 19? He only's going to get drafted once. And for you just to do that to him on his big night, that's low. That's pretty low, and that's classless. And that's lack of journalistic integrity. Very unprofessional. That is very unprofessional for any journalist to do that. What's up, Sylvanius? How you been? Salute Raw Status TV. Check out his channel as well. He's doing his thing over there. Salute to you. But yeah, that definitely just rubbed me the wrong way when she did that while I was doing the NBA draft live here on the show Thursday. She did not have to bring up that man's past at all. Like I said, the investigation is still going on. Let the detectives, the prosecutors, and the whole legal process determine whether he was involved or not. If he was involved, we'll cross that bridge once we get there. If it's proven that he wasn't involved, then hey, That should never be mentioned again. Let that man go on about his life. Let that man go on about his career. But for you to even bring that up like he was already guilty of something, Malika, that's just wrong. And matter of fact, you basically saying that he was guilty. And you think that he's guilty without the facts coming out. That's just wrong. Like I said, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Oh, I forgot. That changed to guilty until proven innocent. Especially when it comes to us, and especially when it comes to reporters like Malika Andrews. I swear that woman is a lie and the truth ain't in her. Whatsoever. Because she was straight up wrong to do that to him. You're going to embarrass that man on national TV with his family watching. With his parents right there at the draft. Ross Daddy said 100. What's up, Kenny Troy? How you doing? Thanks for joining me. But yeah, I did not like that she would even bring that up. Like I said, I could see if he was convicted or something, or he served time over it. That's one thing, but just to bring it up like he's already, like he's just guilty, or he's automatically involved in some way. That's wrong. But Malika Andrews always rubbed me the wrong way. That's why I used to watch the NBA Daily Show every day. I forget the name of it on ESPN. It slips my mind. But I used to watch it. I used to like watching it. But I can't watch it with her now because I like Richard Jefferson. Of course, he played with my Cavs, won the championship in 2016. And to a certain extent, I like Kendrick Perkins. I may not agree with everything Perk may say, but I still like him. But ever since she's been on there, I can't watch it no more. It used to be called The Jump. I forget what it's called now. But ever since Malika Andrews has been on that show, I can't watch it. I can't. Excuse me. And I'm not going to watch it till she's gone. Till she's gone off that show. And that's just the honest truth. I can't watch it because of her. Because she's always messy. I'm like, if you want to do that type of stuff, go to a gossip network. Go to a TMZ or something like that. Because that don't belong in sports. You're right, Kitty Troy. She's straight up terrible. Very terrible. And I can imagine what she's like in person if anybody tried to step to her for an autograph or a picture. I bet she's 10 times worse. I would bet almost any amount of money she's very horrible in person. And you definitely wouldn't want to approach her. She is. She's a terrible reporter. She's a terrible journalist. Don't have no journalistic integrity whatsoever. Heck, I'll take Rachel Nichols back over her. At least she did have some journalistic integrity. Malika Andrews has none whatsoever. Like I said, she brings up people's mess so much, she might as well just work at TMZ. Or some network or website like that. Excuse me. But yeah, you don't do that to a young man like that. Like I said, Miller's an 18, 19-year-old kid. Finally getting to realize his NBA dream and was a top 3 pick. And you just gonna put his business on blast like that? That was uncalled for. Very uncalled for. And from my knowledge, he had no involvement in that murder that his teammate and the other man did. So why would you even bring it up? Like that's just being just vindictive. Raw status, you said, yeah, man, ESPN be on that BS. Yeah, a lot of them do. Like I said, I used to like watching the NBA Daily Show, but ever since she's been on there, I can't watch it because of her. I used to like watching it, but I definitely miss it when it was the jump with Brian Windhurst, Rachel Nichols. They had Richard Jefferson on there for a minute, and also Jalen Rose. But ever since Malika Andrews has been on the show, it's under a different name now. I can't watch it. I cannot watch it because I can't tolerate to watch her. Kenny Trey said, unfortunately, in mainstream media, we lost the true analysis of sports being covered. It's a lot of name calling gossip. Exactly. That's what it's become now. And that's why you got a lot of content creators doing the same stuff on social media now. That's where it came from. It's a lot of name calling, it's a lot of gossip, it's a lot of hot take culture. We definitely have lost the true analysis of sports. It didn't used to be like that back then. People just broke down what they saw. Okay, it might have been an opinion here and there, but they still broke down what they saw, and they didn't let it get in the way of their analysis. They try to be fair and honest as they could be. Okay, yeah, they may have been somewhat biased, but I mean, what human being isn't biased to a certain extent? But they still didn't let it get in the way of the story or the analysis of the sport. Ross Dad, you said, say it again. But yeah, we definitely lost that. We have definitely lost that. And like I said, it definitely has filtered down to social media. Look at a lot of the content creators we see on YouTube and other platforms. They're basically doing the same thing that a lot of the mainstream media does now. And they got the nerve to criticize mainstream media. You know what? I'm going to say this right here, right now. A lot of people, whether you're a content creator or a viewer, some of you sit up and talk about the mainstream media, but the same mainstream media you criticize is the same mainstream media you're influenced by. A lot of them are influenced by the same mainstream media that they say they hate so much. A lot of them are. But yeah, as far as Malika Andrews, man, her day is going to come. She's going to get hers for all the stuff she has said and done about people. Because that was just uncalled for about how she did Brandon Miller. That was very uncalled for. To just even put that dude on blast like that. On his big night. You know, for all my horror buffs out there, it's like some Carrie stuff. The only thing that, you know, she was the girl with the blood in the bucket waiting to just pour it on him. Like I said, that's for all my horror buffs out there. If y'all done seen Carrie enough to know what I'm talking about, Kenny Troy, you said that's right. Like, come on. Like, you gonna embarrass that man on his big night by just mentioning something that he may not have been involved with? Like, come on, Malika, you just messy. All right, good people, I'm gonna take another quick commercial break. I'll be right back, so don't go away.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
All right, good people. All right, this live stream, this show in part is brought to you by BetUS.com. If you're looking for a sports book to give you multiple chances to bet and win, BetUS is the one for you. Copy and paste that link and start betting right now. After you put down your first deposit, you'll get a 125% sign-up bonus. Just type in the promo code JOIN125 and you'll get that sign-up bonus. You'll get multiple opportunities to bet and more chances to win. And you'll get easy payouts with your winnings. BetUS, where the game begins. So definitely check that out right now. Now, one last topic I wanted to touch on, and I have a question. I want everybody to answer it honestly in the chat or in the comment section if you watch the replay. Is loyalty in sports dead? Now, of course, a lot of people have definitely been critical of players, especially in the NBA, for jumping into different teams and making super teams. Of course, a lot of people have given LeBron James criticism for jumping from team to team, whether it was him going from the Cavs to the Heat, back to the Cavs, then to the Lakers. KD has received his share of heat from going from the Thunder to the Warriors to the Nets and now to the Suns. Excuse me. And the only one so far who's been praised in recent memory for staying with their team is Dame Lillard for staying with the Trailblazers. But now even people are saying that maybe he needs to leave the Trailblazers and win a championship. So is loyalty in sports dead? My answer is not dead, but it's definitely dying. I mean, you don't see a lot of players stay with one team anymore because a lot of circumstances arise. Sometimes it can be money. Sometimes that player can be traded. Sometimes that player may want to play in a certain city or play with another superstar and team up to win championships. There's a lot of factors. Excuse me. The NFL is, to a certain extent, it's starting to be that way because a lot of these players are looking at the fact that, hey, they could draft a rookie and that rookie can replace me in a minute. So that's why you see a lot of these big name free agents demanding more upfront money now than what they did back in the day. Back then, most big name free agents would demand money on the back end. But now, since they feel that money may not be guaranteed, let me get more money up front. That way, in case I may have a career-ending injury or you replace me with some young player, hey, I already made my money. I could just cash out. But like I said, it's loyalty in sports is not dead, but it's dying because you're not going to see a lot of players within the next 10 to 15 years stay with one team their whole career. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see Steph stay with the Warriors his whole career. Same with Clay. You're going to see, excuse me, you might see Dame stay with the Trailblazers his whole career. But that's not guaranteed. You're going to see Pat Mahomes probably stay with the Chiefs his whole career 9 times out of 10. You might 9 times out of 10, you'll see Burrow stay with the Bengals his whole career. Josh Allen, I'm not sure. I don't know if he'll stay with the Bills his whole career. But the reason why it's starting to die is not just because of players, it's also because of front offices. And sometimes coaches. Prime example, Tom Brady. Tom Brady was a New England legend. He was a legend in Boston, Connecticut, the whole New England area. He could have ran for mayor in any of those, especially Boston. It would have won in a landslide. But it came down to loyalty. Robert Kraft was super loyal to him. Problem was, Bill Belichick wasn't. So it was really Bill Belichick's idea to move on from Tom Brady, not Robert Kraft. And that's why Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay. Now, there were some Patriots fans that were hurt by it, but y'all shouldn't have really been hurt by it. I mean, come on, that man played for y'all for 20 years or more. He won you 6 Super Bowls. He got you to what? 9 Super Bowl appearances. Won what? About 4 or 5 Super Bowl MVPs with you. So, and he put the Patriots on the map when the Patriots were a joke. The Patriots were a straight up joke before Tom Brady got there. Even in Bill Belichick's first few years, there were losing seasons. So Tom Brady has mostly by himself has made, I'm not going to say by himself because he had a lot of help, but he was the anchor of the Patriots becoming a historic franchise. He was. So, if y'all really want to get mad at somebody, you need to be mad at Belichick, not Tom Brady. And this is one of the rare times I'm going to defend Tom Brady. Tom Brady had to do what was right for him and his family at that moment. Because he got done dirty by a guy that he had a close relationship with for 2 decades. Now, the NBA, of course, like I said, a lot of NBA players have come under fire for joining up with each other to build these super teams to maximize their chances of winning NBA championships. But that's more of the fans' fault, and to a certain extent, it's the media's fault, because we definitely put a big emphasis on this ring culture now. If a player doesn't win a championship, we don't think he's an all-time great player, or we treat him like he was some type of scrub. They did it with LeBron, especially when he was with the Cavs the first time. They did it with KD. They've done it with Russell Westbrook. They've done it with a lot of players. And what a lot of those media people say, oh, they need to leave. They need to leave wherever they're at just to win championships. And once they do that, then you get mad. It's like, you can't have it both ways. You can't keep on saying, well, this player, he's nothing without a championship. Once he leaves to maximize his opportunity to win championships, then you get mad at him. Like, you can't have it both ways. You either want this player to stay where they're at and build that team up, or you want them to leave to win championships. Hell, they're doing it to Giannis now, and he's won a championship with the Bucks. But after they lost in the first round this past year to the Miami Heat, that was the main narrative. Well, he needs to leave Milwaukee to go to a bigger market, even though he's in a pretty good situation. He has a pretty good team around him. They just need to, just to improve upon the bench and also some positions in order for them to be in contention again. Like, he doesn't really have to go anywhere, but also it boils down to a lot of these national media having biases towards certain cities because they only want to be in New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, San Fran, due to the fact because they feel like they're being treated like celebrities there, and they want to rub elbows with the celebrities. And they hate going to a Milwaukee, a Cleveland, etc., because they feel like nobody treats them like a celebrity, and it's too cold, even though for the NBA Finals, you're there in June. You're not there in no doggone January. So in the NBA, it's definitely the media's fault, and it's also the fans' fault too for definitely absorbing in this ring culture. Because I thought about this. Nobody praises Reggie Miller for staying with the Pacers his whole career. Nobody praises Karl Malone and John Stockton for staying with the Jazz their whole career. And on the flip side, people have jumped on LeBron from jumping from team to team. Nobody ever jumped on Charles Barkley for jumping from team to team. Nobody jumps on Shaq either. It's like they get ultimate passes for jumping from team to team. And it don't matter if they were traded or they signed as free agents. They still jump from team to team. Kenny Trey said you nailed it. You also said yes indeed. Say it loud for those in the back. But yeah, it's like okay, y'all keep on yelling. Well, this player ain't gonna be validated if they don't win a championship. But then once they maximize the opportunity to do it, y'all jumping on for just leaving. It's like y'all want to stay loyal, but then y'all want to win championships. I'm like, excuse me. You know, of course, everybody keep on yelling, oh, back in the day, you know, Jordan, Magic, Bird, Kobe, Pippen, and all them. Oh, they stuck it out with their teams. You know, they just didn't jump ship. Well, I mean, look, back then, they didn't know the power that they had. They didn't know their own power back then. If they knew their own power back in those days, some of those players probably may have done it. But back then, it was more the owners having the control. But now it's become such a players' league. And speaking of Kobe, RIP to Kobe, but at one point, he even wanted out of LA. He was going to, remember, he was trying very hard to get traded to the Bulls. Let's not forget that. Definitely not forget that. But yeah. But lost my train of thought for a second. But anyway, you can't really fault players for them taking an opportunity. I mean, it's just like any other person who moves to another city to take another job. And the main problem, I think, is a lot of fans feel like the players should think like the fans. They can't do that. They can't think like fans because they do this as a profession. They do this for a living. This is their livelihood. This is how they take care of themselves. This is how they take care of their families. This is how they set themselves and their families up for, you know, decades, if not generations to come. This is how they set themselves up. They you know, they're doing this now to set themselves and their families up for the future. So they can't think like that. And it took me a long time to realize that. I'm a diehard Cavs fan. And yes, I mean, okay, I wasn't mad about LeBron leaving Cleveland in 2010. I was more mad about how it was done. You know, if he would have just said, I'm gone, and that was it, okay. But to do it on national TV, it was like we were witnessing our own breakup. And also, you know, this is just how I felt at the time. It felt like he was just tone deaf and just didn't feel like he, you know, gave a shit about the fans. But then later on, I think he realized how he handled that whole situation was wrong. And I think he regrets not better communicating with the fans that it was more about him and not the fans. And he really communicated that in his essay when he came back to Cleveland. But also, owners and GMs, they got to give players something to be loyal to. You can't just ask for somebody to be loyal and not give them anything in return to be loyal to. Loyalty is a two-way street. And a lot of people forget that nowadays. You expect someone to be loyal and not for them to be loyal in return. I mean, that's not how loyalty works. Would you want you to be loyal to me and I don't give you any loyalty in return? If I did that, you're gonna be PO'd at me and might want to fight me. Am I right or wrong? Excuse me. So if most GMs can build teams around their star players, then yeah, that gives them something to be loyal to. You can't ask a player to be loyal to something you're not doing holding up your end of the bargain. Now look, some cases a team may build around their player and they may have success and they may leave anyway. Prime example, Kawhi Leonard. They traded for him. The Raptors go on to win the championship and Kawhi leaves anyway for the Clippers. Now, look, there have been some cases where players have been loyal. Prime example, Giannis, signing that extension with the Bucks because he enjoys the city of Milwaukee. He didn't have to do that. He definitely could have left for a bigger market once his contract was up. But hey, he said he liked Milwaukee. He loved the city. He really felt embraced by the fans and welcomed by the fans. And he didn't want to leave. And in the end, it paid off for him. He ended up getting 2 MVPs, won a championship, and now the Bucks are one of the best teams in the NBA. What's up, Bruce? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining me. How you been? Also another one, and I gotta keep it Cleveland here, Joe Thomas. Now, Joe Thomas, as you all know, he's going to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in early August. He played with my Browns his whole career. He was a multiple Pro Bowler, all pro. And we also know that throughout his whole career, he only had one winning season. That was his rookie year. He did not have any winning seasons beyond that. And a lot of people don't know this, that the Browns were going to trade Joe Thomas to the Broncos. This is during the Peyton Manning era. And he literally begged the Browns not to trade him. And it got to a point where Peyton Manning himself called Joe Thomas on the phone and told him that, hey, man, you deserve to be in the playoffs. You deserve to compete for a Super Bowl. Hey, come on, man. Let's do this. Let's win this together. This was the first time they went to the Super Bowl. This wasn't the second year they went to the Super Bowl, which they ultimately won. But yeah, Peyton Manning literally called Joe Thomas on the phone trying to convince him to accept a trade to the Broncos for a golden opportunity to win a Super Bowl. But Joe said, no, I don't want to do it. He said, I owe the Browns. I like the city of Cleveland. The fans have embraced me. I don't want to do it. Now, look, some people may find that crazy or very bizarre. But he felt that's where he was comfortable. He felt like he was, that Cleveland was loyal to him. He had to show the loyalty back. And if he would have taken that trade to Denver and won that Super Bowl that next year, nobody in Cleveland would have blamed. But I think Joe Thomas still would want to go into the Hall as a Cleveland Brown, even though he would have won one with the Broncos. Bruce, you missed it. I was grubbing on hot dogs. Glad you're doing better. So I feel Cap could play, but I feel that the NFL is the racist league. Say I feel Trump is the racist. He was a part of it, but he wasn't the factor. He was definitely a part of it, Bruce, but not the factor. He said, your hot dog is your number one food. Okay, cool. What you like on your hot dog? All right, another prime example of loyalty. I got to stay Cleveland. Jose Ramirez, who plays for the Cleveland Guardians, the third baseman. Now, last year, he signed a contract extension, and he was very close to free agency. Don't you know? Now, Jose Ramirez, he's been an multiple all-star. He's been an MVP candidate almost every year. And it seems, and he doesn't get the notoriety for one. He plays in Cleveland. If he played in New York, Chicago, LA, even Houston, he would be a superstar. But if Jose Ramirez would have hit free agency, that man would have gotten at least 250 to 300 something million guaranteed by any team. At least he would have gotten those figures by any other team. And this was a dude from the Dominican Republic who didn't know nothing about Cleveland, didn't even know where it was on a map. But he said, hey, I'm comfortable here. I enjoy the city. You know, I've made a life here with my family, and I want to stay. So, yeah, there are some players that are loyal, but it's very rare. Like I said, loyalty in sports is not dead, but it's dying because a lot of players now are taking more control of their destiny and not being beholden to one team. And also they're putting it in the owner's court to make them, to give them a reason to be loyal. And I don't have no problem with that because, like I said, loyalty is a two-way street. You can't ask someone to be loyal and they're not loyal to you in return. That's backwards. Would you want me? Well, if I ask you to be loyal to me and I don't be loyal to you in return, how would you react? I want to know everybody's thoughts in the chat. How would you react? Thank you, Bruce. It was long overdue. Had to get rid of the fro and the beard. Said you have ketchup and relish and onion, and if I could, chili. Okay, you can keep it, man. You can keep that relish. I can't stand relish, man. But I would make some chili dogs. Kenny Trey said, "This is the fight MLB and the NBA is going through for the years. Bigger market teams and smaller market teams have been fighting for competitive balance. Media bias has poisoned the landscape of this, causing unfair scrutiny." I mean, the NBA is starting to get a little bit better with parity. It's the MLB because MLB has no salary cap. At least the NBA does have a salary cap. And also, they put in the bird rights so teams can, give their free agents the most money. And like I said, the last few years, we're starting to see more parity in the NBA. We're not seeing the same teams win every year. Matter of fact, it's been, excuse me, so far, it's been 3 different teams that's won in these last few years. 2020, the Lakers won. 2021, the Bucks won. Last year was the Warriors. This year was the Nuggets. It was the Nuggets. So we're starting to see a little more parity in the NBA. Not enough, but we're starting to at least see a little bit of signs of more parity in the NBA. MLB, if you're at a disadvantage because the Yankees, the Red Sox, Cubs, Dodgers, Astros, and the Mets, they can all outspend you if you're a mid to small market team. Bruce, she said, I feel you 100 as you gotta be loyal to get loyal. Exactly. You can't ask someone to be loyal to you and you don't get loyalty in return. Because it cuts both ways. You gotta give somebody a reason to be loyal. You can't just ask for just blind loyalty. That's asinine. I put on my hot dog: ketchup, mustard, and onions. That's about it. That's what I like to put on my hot dog. But yeah, now look, it's very rare for some players to be loyal because some just may be comfortable in the situation they're in. They may like the city, they may enjoy and play in front of the fans, or they feel like the fans gave them loyalty. They got to show loyalty in return, which I get. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then some people feel that some of those players are wrong for doing that. Like with Giannis. Some people feel Giannis made a mistake of signing that extension and felt like, he should have gone to a bigger market. Some people still feel he should go to a bigger market. They feel, he's too big for a Milwaukee. He should be in a Miami. He should be in a LA, etc. But like Kenny Troy said, the national media bias has definitely poisoned the landscape, because some of these reporters, they want to be in certain cities all the time. Excuse me. And a matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of this dude, but he was on point when he said this on a podcast. And Charles Barkley said this after LeBron returned to Cleveland, because he heard some of his colleagues in the media, kind of griping about they got to go to Cleveland now since, LeBron's going back, talking about it's too cold. He's like, these biased reporters make me mad because they want to be in South Beach all the time, talking about I don't want to be in Cleveland because it's too cold. But he said it's cold in Boston, it's cold in New York, it's cold in Chicago. But he knew that was just some that was some BS, that they were just using that as a reason not to be in Cleveland. Like, no, you just don't want to be in Cleveland because it's Cleveland. Bruce, you said, QC, I feel you, when they got all the money in the sport, then they not loyal, but except to the money. True. That's very true. But I mean, do I wish players would be more loyal at times? Sometimes I do. But I also get why they aren't loyal. Because in most cases, not all cases, but most cases, ownership in the front office hasn't shown them loyalty in return, or given them something to be loyal to. Excuse me. And that's what you got to do with players. You got to give them something to be loyal to. Because it's very rare you're going to find a Giannis or a Jose Ramirez that wants to just be loyal to their team, or just to the team that they were drafted by. It's going to be very rare. All right, good people. I'm going to take another quick commercial break. I'll be right back, so don't go away.
Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action.
All right, I'm back, good people. Now, to wrap this all up, I wish players would be a little bit more loyal to teams because it definitely creates more of a competitive balance. You get more parity, but I also don't blame players for doing what's best for them and their families. Also, some of these owners and GMs don't give them anything to be loyal to. Sometimes they don't put the right players around them to put them in better positions to contend for championships. Also, there are some cases where the owners and the GMs do the right thing by putting the players around them to give them an opportunity to win championships, and they still leave anyway. So, unfortunately, it's just a roll of the dice. Sometimes players can't. Sometimes you can be loyal to players and they'll be loyal to you back. Sometimes you can be loyal to players and they aren't loyal to you. Loyal when they don't show that loyalty in return. Excuse me. All right, y'all. That's my time. I gotta get out of here. I gotta run. I thank all of y'all for joining me, whether you tuned in on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. I greatly appreciate you taking time out your night to hang out with me for a while. Can't wait to do this again tomorrow night. I'll be back on live at 8 o'clock. If you would like to donate to the channel, if you would like to support the channel, you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. There's the Cash App cash tag, $ Talkin and Grubbin. Also, here's the PayPal email address, talkinandgrubbin@gmail.com. Any donations you give to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who has supported the channel, past and present. I can't find enough words to describe my appreciation, so all I can say is thank you. And I greatly appreciate it. Once again, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe box, ding that notification bell, and click all so you don't miss any new videos from me. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. So definitely can't wait to do this again tomorrow night. Make sure you tune back in here at 8 o'clock. So until then, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. Salute. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all tomorrow.